worried about to Paul Lane. Paul Lane, do you care about Guam? This is my big pet peeve this morning. Shouldn't we be worried about Guam, or you just want to talk about the Southlands? What do you want to talk about today, Paul?
Well, I actually wanted to talk about the North Spur.
Well, some might view that as an endangered territory as well. All right, go ahead. I flew over the North Spur the other day. It looks pretty stable.
Yeah. Well, I've never seen it, never been there, and I'm certainly not a geotechnical engineer, so I couldn't tell you. I can only go by, of course, what you hear, what you read, and so on. And I guess the concern I have is that there's certainly a lot of conflicting information out there. I can remember at the time, and I'm not sure if it would have been the 2011 or the 2012 Nalcor AGM, and it was prior to sanction anyway.
Okay.
And there was people that was raising the concern then, and I can remember going to the AGM at the Holiday Inn, and the question was asked by a member of the public. Can't remember exactly who it was. It might have been Mr. Dumaresque or somebody like that, or Mr. Anyway, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
But one of the people there who was, I guess, a strong proponent against the project did ask the question about the North Spur, and at the time, the answer that was given was by Nalcor was that they were well aware of the issues of the North Spur, certainly nothing new, that they had an engineering solution, and that engineering solution was contained in the DG3 numbers, which at that point in time was around $6 billion, certainly not 12. That was the answer was given. Now, since that time, of course, there has been, I guess, continue to have concerns raised, and there's really been no substantive answers given. And it's definitely something that's still very controversial, and we're hearing different stories on. And obviously, this has led to much concern for people in Labrador, people
in Mud Lake
in Mud Lake and so on, that would be downstream of the dam. And, no doubt if the dam was built and it were to collapse, we would have an absolute disaster in that area. There's no question to my mind that would happen. So I guess the issue is it safe or is it not safe? Now,
have you made any recent inquiries around this of Nalcor or the Minister of Natural Resources or Environment?
Well, I mean, I've written, as far as this whole Muskrat Falls project goes, and the numerous concerns, whether it be the cost overruns, whether it be the North Spur, whether it be methyl mercury, the project delays, all these things, I have written now. I've written my MP, I've written the Prime Minister, I've written the Premier, the Minister of Natural Resources, the Auditor General. I even went to the RNC to see if it was any possibility of an investigation because of some of the allegations that have been put out there. But when it comes to the North Spur, today there's a guest column. If you get a chance, I encourage you and everyone to read it. In Des Sullivan's blog, Uncle Gnarly, it's by Mr. Jim Gordon, who is an engineer, and he should be no stranger because he has been speaking on this issue for quite some time. But basically, in this guest column, he has indicated that he has been in contact with Manitoba Hydro, he's been in contact with Hatch, and these are companies that Nalcor had told us all at the time that were basically reviewing all of the engineering, the geotechnical work, and so on, and reviewing the project as an independent source to ensure that everything was being done properly, that would be on time, on budget, would be safe, and so on. And if you read what Mr. Gordon has put there, quite clearly, it calls the North Spur into question again, that they're basically saying that they haven't done all this geotechnical work to ensure the stability of the spur. That's what's being put out there. And that is a big concern. And we look at the SNC leveling report, which came to light not too long ago, that 2013 report that was, allegedly received or not received or presented or, whatever happened there. Mr. Martin, didn't accept it, according to them. And in that report, it talks about the serious concerns that they have about the stability of the North Spur. So the bottom line is that this is a very serious issue from a safety point of view. It's a very serious issue from a financial point of view as well. And the bottom line is that Nalcor needs to come forward now. We've seen all the concerns and allegations, again, like I said, by Mr. Gordon today. Put out the information.
MHA for
either
Mount Pearl
confirm or
South.
refute
Afraid to say
what
it
Mr.
because I
Gordon
always get it
and
wrong.
others
But
are
we're talking to
saying
Paul
once
Lane.
and for all.
Paul, help
So
me
that
out.
we
What's
know
the name of your district
you know,
again?
if it's not going to be safe, then obviously we can't do it. If it's not going to be safe, if it's going to collapse and going to cause a catastrophe, then we simply can't. Now, if they have the evidence that proves that the engineering solution is there, that they know what it is, and that then put it out there for scrutiny. Let the people know what it is exactly you're going to do to deal with this issue, and let's put it to bed, put it to rest once for all, and let's make sure that the people, that are living downstream, that they can actually go to sleep at night without having to worry about it.
All right, leave it there. We will continue to pursue this issue. We, of course, invite Nalcor or anybody from the government. If they want to come on and respond, they can. Got to take one more.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tim. And I will just say that I did have a contact as well with Denise Cole with the Labrador Land Protectors, and of course she told me that the Grand River Keepers and the Labrador Land Protectors submitted a joint letter with a number of signatures on it and a petition attached and so on that was presented to the government in May on this issue, asking for answers. They still have not even received so much as a response. That is not good enough. Time for the Premier to show some leadership and answer these questions once and for all.
All right, gonna leave it there, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye. All right.